Live from Las Vegas, it's time for another edition of the Bar Gig Files, and this one's going to be a doozy.
3, 2, 1, fire.
This is going to be a good one, guys. We got Atlanta's funniest clean comic joining us today for the Bar Gig Files to tell us how is it doing clean comedy at a bar gig? Because I find that to be like an exercise in futility. Let's have a round of applause for Andy Gunnin right now. Where is he?
Right here. I'm here.
There's Andy.
Thanks for having me, brother. I'm one of the clean comics. There's more clean comedians now in Atlanta than when I started now. So, and I'm not totally clean all the time. I kind of go to PG-18, but I don't get too blue or graphic. So, but yes, I do clean at some bar shows, and I do a little bit naughtier, a little bit PG-13 or PG-18, but I don't go past that too much. So I enjoy it. And
yeah, that's probably a smart choice overall, just to even develop as a comedian. You know, I tell guys all the time, I'm a dirty comic. You go to these bars, they like it rated R. It's true. But if all you have is blue material, you are dead in the water.
Yeah, you are. And a lot of people are kind of over being so blue unless it's funny, unless it's really funny. People are inundated. It's like I tell people, I don't mess with religion or politics in my stuff because you're swamped with that 24/7 by your phone and everything every day. So when I step up there, I'm like, I want to kind of turn the table of what you're thinking of is about to happen. It's not going to be graphic and dirty and stuff. Now I will talk about some sexual talk and hit on stuff, but I don't get graphic with it. By the time that I'm done, people are like, "You're not clean." I go, "Yeah, I was. I said this, this, and this. I never cussed. I never said any of these words." And they go, "Oh, I was thinking." I go, "Yeah, you were thinking probably way worse than I was talking about." And starting
right.
clean.
And they want to project that onto you.
Right.
Like it's your fault, the blanks that they filled in their heads.
Right. And when I started, I wanted to be clean. I wanted to say, because at that time, this was like 8 years ago or so, I didn't know of a lot of clean comedians. This was before Dusty Slade popped off. It was before Nate really popped off. When clean comedy was kind of, everybody was like, "Where's the clean guys at?" They were coming up. They just had not hit their stride yet, like they have, like some of the guys have, like Nate and Dusty, and they were on the back end. So I didn't see it. So I was like, and then I made the smart choice because it propelled me a lot faster because I got opportunities a lot of other guys didn't because I was clean. And then I come to find out the clubs were like, "Look, we want clean hosts, we want a clean feature, period, in discussion." Mm-hmm. I had no clue about that but I just said I wanted to start this way, and if I could do it this way, then I could do it pretty much any way I want at that point going forward. And it served me well. But I tell a lot of people, it's like on my EPK, it says clean to PG-18. They go, "What do you mean?" I touch on adult content. I just don't get graphic with it. I don't get crazy with it. I'm not here to offend you. I'm not here to piss you off. I'm not here to change your orientation or your voting or you going to church tomorrow, you feel like you just walked out of Satan's butthole. But, it's... It's yeah. You had fun, you had a good time, and you weren't offended, and we weren't down here beating on people. I touch on things and then move on and just kind of things like that. But it's fun. And then at a lot of bar shows when I stay fairly clean through the set. They're like, "Wow, that was fun. That was refreshing. That was nice." And what and if you're dirty, that's fine. There's a lot of great dirty guys. There's a lot of great guys that are blue that do a lot of political stuff. That's just not me. Yeah. That's just not what I want to do. And, end of the day, I want everybody to feel comfortable that came there because typically one person drugged the other person there, whoever that is, And so one of those two people don't want to be there, probably. So by the time it's done, I want them to be able to both say they were happy they came. or
Yeah.
man, I was really dreading this, but man, that was really fun. So, and I talk about stuff that's relatable, and that's all I try to do is stay relatable and stuff like that. What's going on in my life, with being remarried, being 50, having a stepdaughter, and then all those different things, and that everybody deals with. But it's like, man, you're not going to beat my divorce story. You're not going to beat my pet hamster story. I promise you. Because by the time I'm done with this, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, or they think that theirs is also just as dysfunctional or messed up or wild and crazy, and
Right.
they'll be like, "Oh, you must have had a video camera planted in our house because the stuff you were talking about is exactly what we had happen."
Right.
And that is when you struck a chord. You are being relatable, like you
Right.
said. That's what you
Right.
want to do. You want it to be over things that are silly, yet they also hit home in just the right way.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, I need them to follow me, but I need them to buy a shirt after the show. That's my main goal. Like, I'm always closing. It's ABC. It's my sales background. I'm always be closing, man. I'm always closing you on a shirt, dude. I'm always closing because I need money. I need to get home. I need a hotel room. I need whatever.
Sure. Well, that's the key too, man. This is a business and you want to keep the people entertained. I heard from someone a long time ago, it wasn't just about being clean or dirty, because I would be considered dirty. But I'm on the radio. I do radio. I do things like this. I keep it clean. I do those Wild West shows, and those are family oriented. You can't be dirty.
Right.
But when I do a bar show, I just go ahead and that's my freedom to fly. And I've had people say, "Oh, what I liked about you weren't dirty at all." And I'm like, I was dropping F-bombs left and right. But the way it came across to them, it was not offensive, because it's the same thing. You want them to come back. You want to show them such a good time that they don't even know what the content really was. All they know is how they feel at the end of the night. And that's what gets people to line up at the merch table. But even more importantly, that's what gets people to come back to more comedy shows later on, because a lot of them, it's their first time going.
Right. No, that is true. A lot of them is their first time going. A lot of them, a lot of the places, first time hosting a show, or it's their second show, and the first one may have not went well, or they don't know. It's like, man, I'm not here to drive a stake in your business. I'm here for people to go out there and go, man, we had a great time at blah, blah, blah steakhouse, or blah, blah, blah. You got to go back. I'm conscious of that as well. It's not just, I'm not just there to be self-serving to me and my comedy. It's like, all right, man, I'm here to paint a picture for us all to look good,
Yeah. That's what makes you one of the superstars on the Pub and Grub comedy tour, because you get that. You get up there and have fun, and you do the Andy Gunnin show, and you're doing your thing, but you're also being mindful of this stage has to be made for other comedians to come back and return as well.
Right. And I may want, and there's a lot of these, I'm like, hey man, I need you to keep this going, because I come back through here 4 times a year, and I'd like to pick this up in another 8 months and come back.
Yep. And you're also you've been on Hulu, Netflix.
Yeah, I've been on Hulu, Netflix. I've been on about 40 TV shows and movies today.
A bunch of TV shows. When crowds hear that credit, do they treat you any different?
They do. It gets their attention. I can't say the credit I'm using right now, because I can't talk about it on social media. You can only hear about it at my live shows right now, because I'm under an NDA. But typically the one I was using was, because that everybody knows, is Ozark, Netflix Ozark. Like, it's people's attention because they know Netflix and they know Ozark, whether they've seen it or not. You wouldn't believe how many people come, man, I've been meaning to watch that show. Where are you at? I was in season 4, episodes 3, episodes 8. Well, I didn't make it that far. Well, I guess you need to go home and watch, so because they'll sit there, and it gets their attention because they sit there and look at you and go, they're trying to place you.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen the show. Are you sure? And then after the show, they go, all right, what episode? I've been trying to place you all night. I go, you not listen to me? You were just sitting there thinking about this the whole night? They go, no, not really. It was a great show. But by the way, what episode? What, I was like, man, I was an attorney. I was in this scene. By the way, I knocked Jason Bateman off the sidewalk 18 times. He got mad at me, and the assistant director yelled at me. I'm like, I got all kinds of stories and pictures, and I'm like, here it is. Here's the pictures. Here's the blah, 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 blah. So, and it's fun. People go, oh my gosh, that's so great. So you got all those stories and stuff. So it's fun. But I've got a new one now with my new, which I can't say until the show comes out, but I'll tell you off air. But it's fun. It gets people's attention. It's just I just say one. I don't say all the 40. I'll just say what the new one is I'm working on, and that gets people's attention, especially if it's well known, like the one I'm working on right now.
What gets you more excited? The working on the TV shows or performing for live audiences?
Stand up first. Stand up and performing for a lot. The TV and movie stuff is just for money to help try to keep my bills or cover whatever I lost on a road show or in credits and TV credits and trying to get me, that's it. That is literally all I am in. I could care less about doing them forever again. I would do comedy full time, 24/7, 365. But I have to have some money during the week to do some other things. So that is just intertwined because Atlanta became, the new Hollywood in 2020. So I got in when COVID was killed comedy. Yeah. They were still filming. They didn't have people. Next thing you know it, I'm working on every show. I'm working on 3 different shows a week. I was on Ozark. I was working. There's stuff that hadn't even come out or been released that I worked on. Like I did a movie with Kelsey Grammer and that never got released. But that's on the YouTube. Me and him are on there. There's a scene you can see me with him because I played an assistant coach to him, which is great. But I do those things for the money during the week so I can get on the road and then maybe have another credit be seen. And that's I really could care less. I was kind of like, when I started doing both, I was like, well, this was here now because comedy was dead. And the comedy came back and I went back after it. Now they just kind of both play a little bit of hand in hand. Realistically, I could care less about doing TV and movie full time. I'll be honest. I mean, I like it. I don't like the politics of it. I've seen a lot of stuff on the back end. I'm just like, okay, I really want to do comedy first. And but I can't make all, you got to have, when you're working, even though I'm doing how many shows a year? I think last year I did 75, 85, 120 the year before. I don't know what's going to be this year. It's been weird, but it's a second job.
Yeah, you gotta have a lot of irons in the fire. When you're in show business, you gotta have a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, you do. You've got to constantly be moving, and and it leads from one thing to the next, and things like that, and stuff. So you're. Until you can get to where you're like doing stadiums and pulling down big checks where you don't have to worry about it, that's a whole different conversation. But I've done a lot of cool stuff. I've worked with a lot of big actors. I've worked with on a lot of cool shows, so I've had a lot of good experiences, so it's great. It's great. It's learning and you learn a lot.
And you mentioned Atlanta's the new Hollywood. They're bringing a lot of. Is that still going on?
It's going on not as much. They moved a lot of stuff. Like Marvel was filmed right here by my house. The studios, which was Pinewood, and they saw it now it's Trilith. They moved all that stuff over to England. They gave a better tax break, so they moved it all over there. And then that's when I don't know if you heard Trump came out. He's like, "I'm going to tariff Hollywood 125% because unless they film stuff and bring it back here, because they literally abandoned Georgia. I mean, they came here in 2020 when California said no. They've been filming nonstop here. Everything was filmed here for about 4 or 5 years. There's still stuff being filmed here, just not as much, but it's slowly trickling back. So it's coming back.
Yeah. So. And Atlanta's got a thriving comedy scene.
Yeah, it's a thriving comedy scene. And, and I tell folks like this, we're down to only like 3 or 4 comedy clubs now. We're down to 4 comedy clubs. We've had another one fold up, another 2 fold up kind of. One's moving. Laughing Skull's supposed to be moving to a bigger location. They're still around Punchline. Helium, we're talking about Helium tonight. And then there's the Alley Stage. Those are literally the only clubs, around. And the Laughing Skull hasn't been booking headliners. They book local. The Alley Stage books a lot of local comedians and some small, but the big touring guys come through either Helium or Punchline, or they do the theaters. So, but as far as a comedy scene, there's a decent scene here. It's like I tell folks, Atlanta's good. It's a great place to start. It's a great place to get connected. It's you're not going to make a ton of money here. And, you're if you're just starting out and want to have great, get connected with a lot of folks, it is a good place to get very connected with folks and move on and, and get out there and kind of get on the road and stuff. But I mean, I got on the road with you and everything because I was like, I was tired of like barely like scraping for a 10-minute spot because everything's, 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 10, you're lucky.
You got to do long sets.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's why I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to get somewhere I can get some more, leg room.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what hitting the road is.
Yeah.
You get the leg room.
Yeah. And, here's the thing about Atlanta. Everything's spread out, man. It's not like New York or anything. So, like, if you go, like, I'm going to Helium tonight to do an audition set. And so it's going to be great. But I'm going to be there, till like 9 o'clock before I do my set. But then after that, there's only like one. You can go try to find. You can maybe pick up 1 to 3 shows a night here in Atlanta as far as open mics. But, it's not like a New York or, anything like that. So you just got to kind of pick the ones you want to go to and work from there. The Live Skull's a good one because you got a real audience that actually shows up, so you can really test your jokes as far as open mics. But there's a lot of shows. There's a lot of bar shows.
Comics. It's like your hometown where you're the city you're at is where you might go around to pick up some sets to work on stuff. But you really go on the road and you tour, and that's where you do your longer sets. That's where you do your bigger shows. That's where you get paid. That's where and I think that's where you really develop. It's when I did a lot of the local sets around, I'm working on stuff. It's not a whole lot of, let me do my tight 10A game.
Yeah.
That stuff is reserved for when you are in the middle of nowhere in Oklahoma.
Right.
And you go nationwide. Like you will hit the road first thing early in the morning, and you get there and you set up the stuff, and then you still got to be funny and personable for an hour. What is that? That's like a skill set in and of itself. Beyond just being funny for 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm used to driving. Driving does not bother me. I used to sell building material for over 25, almost 30 years, and driving around Atlanta or Georgia in my truck 250 miles a day. I'm at home when I'm in a car driving. Like, I don't turn the radio on or anything. I got like 18 tabs open in my head, my ADD brain. I'm constantly thinking about stuff. I write more new stuff and come up with new stuff just driving 8 hours to a show. I'm like, I got a new one. It's like, so it's things like that. It doesn't bother me. People just look at you and go, man, and I go, I'm just going up to do. I did a turn and burn show this past Saturday, and I only had one show, so we went up. It's 8 hours and then turn around, did 2 hours back, stay at a hotel. Everybody's like, well, that's crazy. I'm like, no, 8 hours is in my backyard. You don't understand. You don't understand. My normal go-to is 17 hours to my first show. 12 to 15,
and then work your way back.
And then I work my way back, and they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'll do a 3,000 mile loop before you even blink on a weekend."
yeah.
But no, and then sometimes you kind of get tired, traffic, you're frazzled. But when I do things like that, I break them up. I'll leave a day before. Like if I have a 12-hour run, I won't do it on the way to the show. I'll break it up. I'll drive 6-8 hours, stay somewhere, so the next day it's easy and I just roll in. I'm fresh and I'm ready and I'm not frazzled. I tell everybody, say 12 hours, you better break it up. Find you a cheap motel somewhere or a casino for a free room or whatever, and then that way the next day when you roll in, you're only driving 4 hours and you're fresh and ready to go. I'll do a 12, 5, 15, home, but not to the show. That's just I'll leave a day early. I always leave a day early. It's worth the hotel money to me to have to show up and then be ready to go. It's worth the $50-$60 and just, it really is. Because if not, you will burn yourself out and then you could be late to a show or you could miss, it's just too much to do, people. I always said when I started doing comedy, when I started getting paid, I was like, I'm never going to be one of those comedians that says, I missed my plane. The plane broke down. We were flying the day of the show, so the show's canceled. I never want to do that. That is. I feel like to me, you should be able to fly out the day before. What did you have to do that was so, the day before? Now, if you had something big, that's one thing. That's different. But typically, it's like, man, what did you have to do on Wednesday before to get in there to that Thursday show? It's like, just take the day early, spend $100 for the hotel. So you're there for your show. Cause I mean, if you don't do the show, you don't get paid. You know, it's like, come on, man. It's like, that's just my take. That's
Yeah,
just me.
well, you're old school. That's the old school way of looking at it. And a lot, it's when I was coming up, it was like you missed the gig, it's your fault, no matter what. Tornado comes and blows your car away to Oz. So what?
Yep.
It's your fault. You missed the gig.
What was it 3 weeks ago with that snowstorm that hit through across the country, and I was like, 6 hours away from that show, from the last one or something or whatever it was, and I was like, I need to leave this time because it's going to hit. Because I'm going to be there. I'm not going to give them a chance to cancel the show because I can't afford for them to cancel. I literally cannot afford for them to cancel.
Right. And you're stranded either way.
Yeah.
We gotta do it.
I'm stuck either way.
Rule number 1, the show must go on.
And I showed up at 3:30, walked straight in. I was like, where's the owner? It's like, we're here. He goes, all right, I guess we're not canceled. I go, no, you're not.
Nope,
I don't care
good.
if 5 people or nobody shows up.
There you go. All right, America's Best Bar Comic, Andy Gunnin. He's in the book. He was on last year's cover of the comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have been on this year's cover too, but there's so many that are on there. We got Mike Marvell, Steve Sabo. He's definitely got to be on there. Longhorn, Jim
In fact,
Norder.
I was on it last year ahead of some
Frank
folks.
Roach.
I was like, oh, I was honored. So no, I definitely didn't need to be on the cover this year.
Yep. And all those guys we're going to have on more episodes of the Bar Gig Files. And what are you doing this weekend that you wanted to mention?
Oh yeah, I'm in Bowling Green, Kentucky at Don's House of Comedy. They have moved locations. They have a new location at the Holiday Inn in Bowling Green, the convention center. It's on my page. But yeah, they moved. They were at one place, something happened, and now they're at a new location. And this is their first show at their new location, and back they took off for about 6 months in between trying to find a place. So, and I'm headlining, and my featured buddy Brian Whitaker. So it's going to be a great show. We're excited about it. Just come out, and it's going to be fun.
Okay, cool. There you have it, guys. Andy Gunnin, Barcom USA superstar. Appreciate it, Andy. That was fun,
Thank
man.
you, sir. Appreciate it,
yeah,
man.
we'll do more of these. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a regular recurring performer on the Pub and Grove Comedy Tour. Gets there early, sets up the lights, sets up sound, makes sure everything goes well, does a meet and greet with the crowd afterwards, and then promotes the hell out of it on his social media. So, very good at what I call the before the show, and then there's after the show. You always got to be keeping them in the stratosphere, what to expect, build the anticipation, deliver the goods, and then afterwards say, here's a little bit of wrap up. So Andy does a great job of that. Check out all the social medias. And if you're anywhere within a 100-mile radius of Bowling Green, Kentucky this weekend, go see him live. Don't miss it.
That's right.
Link in the comments below. All right. Thanks, Andy. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. See ya.